What's up, everybody? So I wanted to talk about the Justice Democrats and why I disagree with them on their gun policy platform. Now, like I said in the other video, I want to talk about this separately, but on the other issues that the Justice Democrats stand for, I am in agreement with them on. And if you haven't watched my 10-minute video talking about the Justice Democrats, please go check that out now. But on the topic of guns, I am in almost complete disagreement with them on gun policy. And let me just read you their policy platform. Enact common sense gun regulation. 92% of Americans want expanded background checks. 54% want a ban on assault weapons, and 54% want a ban on high capacity magazines. This should be implemented along with a federal gun buyback program to cut down on the 300 plus million firearms in circulation. Over 30,000 Americans die every year from gun violence, including over 10,000 homicides. The time to act is now to address this public health crisis. Well, I want to address this in the most rational way possible. Now, on the first part, with the background checks, I'm in agreement with that. Every time I buy a firearm, it takes like 10, 15 minutes for them to run my name and to see that I'm not a criminal or a felon, I mean. And I'm in favor of that. And also, I think that there should be some mental health checks as well to ensure that you're not going to be a person who wants to go shoot up a school or wants to go, I don't know, do some crazy fucked up shit or whatever. And also, if you're on a no-fly list or a terrorist watch list, then you damn sure shouldn't be buying no fucking gun in the United States or anywhere for that matter. Now, the next part, which is the first thing I disagree with them on, is the 54% of Americans want to ban on assault weapons. Now, the reason that I'm against this is because most gun homicides, or excuse me, most gun deaths are suicides, which is a mental health issue. You need to address our failed mental health system, and you need to increase funding for it. Now, the over 10,000 homicides that take place in our country are mainly from fire, like pistols and revolvers. Only like 2 to 3% of them are done with weapons that people would consider an assault weapon or assault rifle. And to be honest with you guys, this right here, for them it looks very scary and intimidating, but this is a rifle. And if this was an M1 rifle, they'd be like, oh yeah, that's fine, that's a rifle. But the only thing that makes this different is that it has a detachable magazine, it has a adjustable stock. It has like a sight like that. I mean, but even like a lot of the what you would probably consider like a rifle, like an M1 or whatever, are the same freaking thing. And it just looks intimidating. But just because something's scary or you don't understand what it is or whatever, doesn't mean that you should, trample on someone's rights to own this. Like I have a right as a American citizen to own this firearm, and knowing the history of my people in this country, of course I want to own a weapon like this. I want to be able to protect myself. Now, obviously, if someone broke in my house, I'll probably use my shotgun. But still, it's like I don't like these, and I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible. These white liberals telling me that I'm not allowed to own a firearm and they want to put bans on them because based on our history, there's a racist element into gun control. Like a lot of times in the South, they didn't want black people owning firearms. Like one of the reasons my family left the South in the 20s was because of racism. And there's my great uncle. They don't have a death certificate for him, and they think he might have been lynched or whatever. But if he would have had an access to a firearm, it's like he would be able to protect himself. And in the South, blacks who had firearms, if enough of the local clans people found out about it, then they would go after you. So there's some racist elements to gun control. And now the next thing on the list is the ban on high capacity magazines. Now this right here is a 32 round magazine for my Glock 17, right? And yeah, it looks intimidating once again. Or I don't think it looks intimidating to me. It's just a fucking magazine. But high capacity magazine are things that are magazines that for pragmatic purposes hold 10 or more rounds in them. And if you ban these high capacity magazines, once again, it's not going to do a lot because look, most gun deaths are done with weapons like this. Semi-automatic pistols that hold maybe like 7 to 8 rounds in them, or small little revolvers. To carry this on you concealed is a lot more easily is a lot more easily done than carrying this Glock 17, which is actually one of the largest Glocks. But even still, if you had this in your waistline or if you had it in your jacket, it's a lot more noticeable than something like this. So if you want to, ban high capacity magazines, once again, it's not going to do anything because most gun homicides are done with smaller fucking pistols, because people who want to shoot other people usually know them, know where they're at, and they walk there or they drive there and they want something that's easily concealed. So that's not going to do anything. And also too, it's once again infringing on my rights. Also, a federal gun buyback program. If a criminal has a legal firearm that they probably bought it for an amount that's highly above or way above what it would cost regularly. So like people, and this might be another issue I agree with them on, is that you need to have some sort of gun registry. And I know a lot of people who are on the super pro gun side are against a gun registry, but I consider myself a moderate. I think a gun registry is fine because what people do is, and I know people who have done this because I went to a really rough high school, and they go down south, they buy a whole bunch of fucking guns, under the table or at gun shows or whatever, for the LO or for really cheap, and then they go up to states where the guns that they buy would be considered illegal because they might hold a certain amount of rounds in them, or they might be like an AR-15, or even, but most people don't buy guns like this if they're criminals because they're fucking huge. It's like, if you have to conceal that, is damn near nearly impossible. But and when they go to these states to sell these guns, they get double the price. So if a criminal wants to buy back his gun, you're probably not even want to, and they're probably not even going to give them the value of that gun, of like how much it costs at a store or whatever. It's probably going to be way less than that. And then on top of that, these people probably paid more than what it costs to buy it in a store. So once again, not going to do anything. And then the next thing I would say is that if you really want to cut down on the gun homicides in our country, what you need to do is you need to implement initiatives within violence-stricken communities. You need to have the fucking jobs need to be in those communities. A lot of people that I know who have turned to a life of crime that I went to high school with, the reason they do it is because there's no fucking jobs. Like I'm lucky that I was able to go to college and do engineering, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm accomplishing what I need to accomplish to be successful. But a lot of people, they if they work a minimum wage job, they can't even get by on that. So you need to have jobs that pay a living wage, and you need to have a good school system, because one of the biggest things that causes a neighborhood to go down in terms of or the housing prices to go down is the school system shitty. I mean, where my girlfriend went to high school, like she'll say like, oh, my high school is like 60, 70 years old. But I tell you this right now, I bet you didn't have, gang fights, people having to, or like having the northern part of the Akron Police Department, all the police officers have to come to my high school to break up a massive fucking gang fight. And they put our high school on lockdown. Bet you didn't have to go through anything like that. But those are the kind of issues that they face in these inner city communities, and they need to be addressed. But they're trying to diagnose a problem, or they're trying to get the problem fixed, but they don't even have the right diagnosis of or the method of how to solve that problem. So that's the issue that I have with the Justice Democrats gun policy platform. I'm really interested in hearing what you guys have to say. If the Young Turks or whoever, or Secular Talk people watch this, and they like what I have to say, or they want to talk to me, please reach out, because I'm all in favor of talking to people. I'm not one of those people who are like I'm unwilling to listen to the other side. I'm the kind of person who's, I'll sit down at the table, I'll have a beer with you, and I'll, you know, tell you what I think, and I'll listen to what you think, and then, if we can't come to, if you don't have anything that's going to change my mind or make me look at it something differently, then I'll walk away from that. But that's the kind of person I am. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and have a nice evening. Peace.